Hey, thanks for tuning in for a Saturday edition of Football Predictions and Wine Pairings with Francis. Now, I have to tell you right out of the box that you're probably noticing that my voice is a little more raspy and a little lower than usual. And that's because I'm on the last legs of a cold. But if you can move past that and bear with me, I have a lot of fun information for you today about the games. Now, I realized that because I've been sick since New Year's Eve, that I am inadvertently participating in dry January. And I know that January is the time of year that a lot of people like to kind of reset stuff, especially around health. And so this is the time when people are like, hey, I've been drinking a lot in December. I should probably try to pull it back or take a break. So to support that, I decided that for today's game, I would get a wine that was alcohol free. Now, I want to point out that when I went to get a alcohol free wine, I was immediately struck with the fact that some wines say non-alcoholic and some say de-alcoholized wine. And I wondered what the difference was. And while the difference is minor, it's probably like 6 of one, half dozen of the other, there is a little bit of a difference. A non-alcoholic wine in its base, when it is created to not have alcohol in it. So when they harvest the grapes a little bit earlier so that they don't develop as much sugars. And if they develop less sugar, then they cannot develop as much alcohol when they're fermenting. And then also the fermentation process is cut short, again, to prevent too much alcohol from developing. On the other hand, a de-alcoholized wine is a wine that is made like a regular wine, and then the alcohol is removed via reverse osmosis. And so this reverse osmosis process is a process where they use high pressure to push the wine through a membrane, and it separates the alcohol from the water. And then you're able to get the liquid part of the wine. The advantage of this technique is that it will maintain the body and structure that you would expect for any particular varietal. Now, in both instances, you can have as much as 0.5% alcohol in the wine. So if you want something that's completely alcohol free, you're going to have juice or soda. But I thought I'd give it a try. Hey, maybe I could drink a little bit less. And the wine clerk suggested a wine to me that is a Riesling, which is a style we have not talked much about here. And it is from Germany. Germany is well known for their Rieslings. And it is a wine, it is a white wine. And Rieslings are really approachable for people who are really kind of getting started with wine because they have 6 levels of sweetness, ranging from dry all the way to extremely sweet. When I say extremely sweet, I'm saying think of the sugariest Kool-Aid you ever had. That's how sweet it could get. So the wine that I'm having today is Vanish from Magic Box Riesling de-alcoholized wine. The other thing about this wine is it only has 45 calories per glass. So, if you're also trying to have some weight loss factors, this could be something for you too. I want to point out that this bottle has a screw top, which is generally not something you see from European countries. They almost always have corks. And on top of that, underneath that screw top, there was a little cap on top of the bottle. And I think that was placed there because this particular wine, if you take a look, has bubbles in it. It's a little bit carbonated. There's some light carbonation in here. What you're going to see here is a really light color. And while I can't smell everything 100% because of my cold, there are 2 smells in particular that were coming right to the top on this wine. The first one is petrol. And while that might not sound like a really desirable scent for wine, it is actually a very common scent for Riesling. And the second scent that I was getting was fresh green apple. It's really crisp and it's just sitting right on the top. Now, on the tongue, I'm getting that green apple. It's kind of zesty. It has a body that is similar to a hard cider. I would say that the taste is similar to a hard cider. It's a lot sweeter than I expected it to be. I mean, almost too sweet. It's very close to juice. I honestly cannot say that I would recommend this wine because I just don't like a wine that's quite this sweet. Now, if you want a little bit of a fancy juice, then by all means have at it because it's pretty nice if you're looking for juice. If you're looking for wine, it's going to be pretty disappointing. But this wine was only $10, and I really was focused on spending less than $20 on alcohol-free wine because I've had several in the past and they've all been very disappointing. So I didn't want to just throw the money in the street. But I will be having this wine. I have a pairing with it regardless. I'll be having this wine with a Vietnamese spring roll that has lemongrass pork in it and a little bit of a peanut sauce. Now, most people do not know that Riesling is a great wine for Asian cuisines, in particular Thai and Vietnamese. It really can handle the spiciness and the complex flavors that you're going to get in these cuisines. So, on that sense, it's pretty good. I don't know if, so let me rephrase that. I'm not recommending this wine. You can try it if you're interested in trying a de-alcoholized wine. Now, let's pivot to something that I'm a little more excited about, and those are today's games. Now, there's two games, and the first game is at 1:30, and we're going to be seeing the Chargers taking on the Texans, and the Chargers are 11-6, and the Texans are 10-17. Now, they have met 5 times before in the past, and the Texans have the advantage here. They've won 3 times in the 5 meetings, their last meeting being in October of 2022. Coming into this game, the Texans are going into the playoffs for the second year in a row. But their record from last season is 1-1. They won 1 game and then lost the next game. For the Chargers, they have not been in the playoffs since 2022. So this will be their first time in 2 years. Now, I begrudgingly hate to say this, but I'm going to choose the Chargers. I just feel like with their head coach, who's Jim Harbaugh, they're probably going to have a really good game plan. And while I think that guy is a cheater, if you have questions about that, look at his mysterious exit from Michigan under some unknown circumstances around cheating. But he'll probably have a good game plan, and I think they'll be able to win this game. Now, because I'm not as excited about this game as I am the second game, I want to mention to you that this game is also going to be shown on Nickelodeon. It's primarily on CBS, but it's also on Nickelodeon, and it will be an animated game. This will be our 3rd one of the season, and this time it's going to be SpongeBob. So far this season, we have seen The Simpsons and Disney, and now we're going to see SpongeBob, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that. So that's going to be really fun. Now, the second game is the game that I'm a lot more excited about. And that game is going to pair the 10-7 Steelers against the 12-5 Ravens. Now, I have to tell you straight away that this game is on Prime. So if you don't have Prime, you had better get a friend so you can catch this game. Luckily for me, I made a friend earlier in the season, so now I'll be able to catch this game because I personally don't have Prime. One of the things to note about this game, the Steelers quarterback, Russell Wilson, is 9-7 in the playoffs. Now, that's a lot of losses, but in those 9 wins, he managed to win the Super Bowl in 2013. So let's not overlook the fact that this guy's a Super Bowl winner. On the flip side of that, the Ravens are 2-4 in the playoffs. Last year, they lost the AFC Championship game to the Chiefs, who went on to win the Super Bowl. I am going to choose the Ravens because I have been trying to support the Ravens all season long, and I just really want to see Lamar Jackson get to the promised land. That being said, if Lamar Jackson starts throwing a lot of interceptions, then the Steelers could win this game. Okay, let's recap it because we've covered a lot. 1, if you want some fancy juice that has no alcohol that's pretending to be wine, go ahead and pick up a bottle of Vanish by Magic Box Riesling. 2, go ahead and watch the Nickelodeon version of the Chargers versus the Texans. Take the Chargers. And get on Prime. to watch the Ravens win against the Steelers. All right. I will see you on Monday because there is another playoff game on Monday night. Cheers.